Now, what do you see when you look at an artist nowadays? Do you see the fame? Do you see the fortune? Do you see the high life he's living with the fast cars and women? Or do you see an artist that's giving their art to the world? Plain and simple, could be any of those things. And they're all equally as right. Because in the end of the day, in today's day and age, people look at artists like, any other celebrity in terms of the clout, the way they move. They all have a certain mystique to them to where you want to kind of understand the character. Me personally, music was never about that. And this isn't to make me sound better or smarter than anyone, because this is just honestly coming from the heart. Whenever I listen to music, I would never think about the artists themselves. It would solely be about the music. And even saying that out loud sounds kind of weird, because when you look at artists, they'll have a specific brand in them that makes them kind of who they are. But for me, it was always literally just about the music. I thought it would be cool to look up artists and see what they do, but if I didn't care about their music, I wouldn't pay much mind to them. For example, I would just be, in my younger days, listening to hip-hop, kind of underground stuff, and I'd look for albums that were kind of unheard of. This was before Mad Villainy was huge on the internet and Reddit, this and that. So, for example, Mad Villainy, I listened to the album in like 6th, 7th grade, and I was just browsing on YouTube trying to look for new artists to listen to. And that album kind of opened my eyes to just different pockets of music that I've never even experienced before. But I never once thought about those artists in terms of what they looked like. And even MF Doom, the artist that in question with Madlib that created the album that I'm talking about, he had the metal face. That's what everyone knows him for. Metal face Doom. And that became pretty much his whole identity, his whole career. And that's exactly what he wanted to accomplish. So he did his job correctly. But me, I never even thought about the metal face until I listened to a couple more of his songs. And I noticed he mentioned it all the time in his raps. And that begged the question to me is like, wow, this dude, why does he always wear this mask? He even mentioned to in one of his raps that kind of makes him look like a mental patient. That's Questions. The song that he mentioned that in the bar. And it makes you wonder, where do you get the idea? So I look up, his music videos, interviews, this and that. And it turns out he's a big fan of Marvel Comics, specifically the hero Doctor Doom. So you can pretty much tell just by saying that out loud, he got inspiration from that. And that's pretty cool. That's a persona. That's something you can take up, and he uses that, or he did, rest in peace. He used that in his records to pretty much show people who he is. All caps. Stuff, just if you listen to his albums, you'll understand. And at the same time, it's really just about the music. His music was top notch. A lot of people say he's one of the top 10 best rappers of all time. Maybe not in the mainstream, even though he's pretty mainstream now after he died, unfortunately. Even in the mainstream, people will say he's top 10. And it's because of the music. He's such a unique artist. And we may not see another artist like him again, even though there's been countless people from the underground and even mainstream hip-hop scene that have tried to adapt the style and have done it successfully. Tyler Creator, OF, different members of East Coast hip-hop. They all kind of adapted his style in a way. And it's really cool to see because, 10 years ago, people were not rapping like that at all. Only a couple people were. So you can really see how his music impacted people, but this isn't just about the music, like I said. His whole brand with the metal face, coming with the bars about being a villain and this and that, it really shows you that he had a mindset of building his own brand, and he really used it to his advantage. Because you look at his merch store, he has a lot of merch, even throughout all the years of him being a small artist. He's had a lot of merch, t-shirts, this and that. So he definitely was smart enough to monetize that movement because he saw what the potential of branding himself to be a certain way, being an artist, looking at things that you're inspired by and trying to figure out how you can incorporate that into your art. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to do that. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with my art. I have had a lot of inspirations in my life that just make me interested in different things. But it's hard trying to put those inspirations into a conceptual way that you can show to people and it'd be a full product, where it'd be YouTube video, a song, a beat, various different outlets of entertainment and creativity that people take up to show who they are and what they are as a person. It's different several things. So I'm basically making this video to ask the viewers this too. An artist, what do you look for in terms of the brand? Do you look for how they dress? Do you look for how they talk? The persona? What their favorite freaking food is? Like, there's a lot of different things that could go into it. And it's a really interesting topic because at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning of the video, every single artist that you know, and it could just be a different artist that kind of don't have like that persona, just you really like their music, right? But even in modern days, people have these artists, they dress a certain way, they look a certain way. It's because they fall in love with the brand. And like I said for myself, I never really looked at art like that. I've always looked at the music specifically just for the music. And I keep saying this because I have to reiterate it to make sure people don't think I'm trying to stand on the high horse or this and that. But I really don't look at the branding and this and that. I really just look at the music because I know for a fact artists need to use their brand to their advantage to try to gain people eyes on the product. It's just like advertising a freaking burger, or, you know what I'm saying? It's basically advertising, but for artists, the same way Burger King has to have the king do it your own way, the same way Nike has to have just do it. MF Doom has to say all caps, so it's his name. And at the end of the day, that's what all artists are trying to figure out. Some artists are way better than that, and I have to respect the artists that are really good at that because it's easier said than done. You can take a persona, but is it really of you, or are you just trying to do it to say you are something and then get away with it? A lot of people do get away with it. You see Lil Pump, he basically made a persona of just doing Xans and doing dumb shit. And you see how many people try to copy that and failed. But he was one of the first rappers to just capitalize off of doing dumb shit, pranks, doing Xans, making memes, just that SoundCloud era, just having no rules to your life, living like, tomorrow's your last, and just, living freely. A lot of that era of him just doing dumb shit, obviously we knew it wasn't gonna last because of how, not shitty the music was, but it wasn't the top-notch pinnacle of rap, and it never was going to be, and that's kind of the annoying question that older people would ask, like, why do you guys listen to this shit? Like, that's for a whole another video. But yeah, just that kind of persona that he carried on lifted his career to where he can just drop a song. He doesn't even have to act a certain way. You just know it's a Lil Pump. And I'll probably be covering some different artists, like a specific artist video, and breaking down their brand, this and that, just to be able to explore it and kind of even this is more for myself, even at the end of the day, because with my music and my brand, I want to learn how these people do it so I can take that and then build my own thing with it. And then you guys 10 years ago be like, dude, this guy was making YouTube videos about his brand. I made a brand, dude. That's so fucking cool, man. Let me make a video. It's a whole circle of things. Hope you found this video interesting. I didn't make a script for this. I was gonna write a script, but I thought it'd be better just to come off my dome, pause, and just spill my thoughts, because at the end of the day, that's why I like doing it. I just like spilling my thoughts, and if you like listening to my thoughts, watching these videos, just hit the subscribe, like button. Stay for more content. I'll see you soon. Thanks.